What's going on, YouTubers? So, this is the intro video to G's Garage. I'm Kai Giuliano, G, and we're gonna go through what we have so far. Here we have my 1951 Dodge B3B pallet house pickup truck. We're starting these videos a little bit into the nitty gritty that's already happened. Had a buddy suggest that I start this just to document and heck, see if anybody else has any interest in what we're doing. So we have a Mustang 2 front end, QA1 coilovers running 11.5-inch or 11-inch Camaro front discs, and then pretty much the only thing that we have that is stock original frame is from the frame horns that I built in, like right around there. You can see where we welded it all together and cleaned it out to about there. There you can see some big fish plates connecting the boxed in 6.5 by 2-inch frame rail. See, all boxed in side to side. From there, we went and we cut. Well, I went and I cut right there and added in brand new 6 by 2 rectangular tubing all the way back to the back. And that's when we get to the real nitty gritty of this entire build. So from here, we narrowed in at, I believe, 92 inches from where we cut to there. And that narrows in 10 degrees. So that 10 degrees was original to the frame. So the original frame came out to here and at the factory was bent in 10 degrees. So by just cutting 5 degrees out of each side, we get our 10 degree. And then we go into our narrow. Now these right here are frame curves built by Welder Series out of Canada. Awesome company, great people. So they ship them in 90-degree turns. So we started with a 90, like that. Cut that in half, flipped it, and then you get a 45, or what is it? Yeah, 45 to 45, and that's what brings you in. And then we have our vertical. That begins here, same thing. It turns 90 normally. So we cut that in half to get our bottom lift. And then we had up here the other half of that. Now the frame's all MIG welded and everything else, but then the fish plates, another Welder Series product, another amazing product from them, is all TIG welded in. There you go. And that provides support, rigidity across these frames at the structural parts. And that allows us to have more strength in our rise and therefore a more structurally sound frame. Here we go. If we come to the back, there's our fuel cell. You can see how they come. This is a full 90 degree. You weld them together. It comes into 4 pieces. So you got the outside, the inside, the top, the bottom. I have a fixture table over here that I use for all that. And man, they come out great. They plasma cut all the parts. They're very easy to work with. And I mean, the end product just speaks for itself. So there you can see it. It all comes in really, really nice. Here you're seeing actually a Winners, no, not a Winners, I've got some Winners parts on it, but a Franklin quick change from the 70s of an old dirt car. And we're still rocking the wide 5, which I just absolutely love. I love the look of it. I love the structural, integrity of it. It's this big aluminum free float, which is a blessing just due to the fact that by having the free float, you take a lot of that stress off of the axle. But yeah, here we go. Pretty much just a nasty, dirty truck. Inside, all the floors cut out, firewalls all cut out. Had to get something in here, so I was just messing up, mocking up the steering column. Those are all Speedway parts along with the steering wheel. I'm just sitting here. This stuff, man, this stuff is absolutely gross. This is like, it's the old interior, as you can kind of see there. Kind of hard to see. But it's like this old cardboard that just falls apart in your hand. Yeah, there you go, you see that? And it's old. I mean, this is a 1951, so you gotta figure it's run its course, it's lived its life. We'll have to figure out something cool to do up there, or just screw it. We'll just let it eat. So there you go. This is my favorite part about this truck. Regardless of all the work that I put into it and everything else, it's a 1951 truck, and listen to this door. Solid. Doesn't matter the amount of rust, anything like that. Just solid. Here, let's listen to that again, because it's just so satisfying. 1, 2. Man, love it. The cab itself, I mean, for what it is, it grew up in Pennsylvania, or lived most of its life in Pennsylvania, so it had a hard life with salt. And then it retired into this farm in Virginia, where it was actually saved by a couple guys out of West Virginia, where I stumbled across it and ended up picking it up. But I mean, it's a cool old truck. And they just didn't make many of them. From what I read on the internet and everything else, you pretty much can just, for every 10 Chevys or the Fords of the time, they made like 3 of these. And the main reason for that was they were just a little bit more expensive to build. Dodge did a couple things here and there. The original flathead was a little bit better, I guess, from what I've read. But I mean, it's a cool old truck. But yeah, lots of, let's call it patina anymore. That's the cool word for, old ratty trucks. But okay. Here we got the 440 stabbed in real quick. Just being supported with some jack stands. It seems pretty secure. It ain't going nowhere. So right now, next step for another night, tomorrow night, is going to be getting it actually nice and centered in the frame, and then taking these engine mounts that are made by Welder Series. You guys make some awesome parts. They also made those. Very, very nice. So we'll get those all situated, cut, tacked in for the time being, because we still don't know where the transmission and stuff's going to end up. Well, we have a good idea, but we're figuring it out still. So yeah, that is the 440 inside the frame. It's sitting pretty good. I had to cut the firewall quite a bit, but we'll get there. We'll figure it out. All right, that's quite a bit. So with the 440 in the frame, we also got the Milodon truck pan in. Kind of hard to see. Don't mind the dirty engine block. It's got it all come out and get cleaned and painted. That's some pretty decent clearance in down there. But that has been a bear to wait for. Ordered it like 2 months ago. It's finally coming in the other day. But hey, that's what happens when you order directly from manufacturers sometimes. They gotta build it and everything else, and it's all good. But yeah, I'll also upload a bunch of pictures in this video to show you all the progress, where it started, where it's became, I mean, this monster of a truck that was supposed to just be, you know, a fun V8 powered air-dried vehicle, you know, the cool thing to do with, you know, old trucks nowadays. Was never going to put an LS in it, had to stay a Mopar. And I'm not, you know, biased by any means. This is my first Dodge I've ever owned. I've owned Fords, I've owned, you know, I have a 74 Toyota Celica, I have a 2002 Subaru that's all wide bodied, and, you know, that thing's a blast. But this is my first, you know, real hot rod I've built or am building. Hopefully this is ready for Trog, a race of the gentleman's Trog. Just to cruise and, you know, hit the street and just have a good time. I still have a bunch of things I'm trying to figure out on, you know, where do I want it to be at by then. I need to get some different seats, but am I putting a cage in, you know, am I fabbing a cage up? If I'm fabbing a cage up, then that might be a little bit more of a process down the road. Not that it's going to be difficult, you know, but they don't make parts for this truck like they do anything else. You know, like the F100s or the F1s, F100s, whatever you want to call them, and like the 3100s. They don't really make those parts. I've had to do a lot of, you know, engineering to say the least. Like the 4-link in the back, that's out of Tri-5 Chevy. So as you can guess, you know, a 4-link for a Tri-5 Chevy doesn't fit into a 51 Dodge pickup very well. Lots of modification, lots of, you know, cut once, measured twice ordeal, measured 3 times, cut 4 times, you know how it goes. But yeah, I mean, this is it. This is G's Garage. I hope you guys like what you see. And I'll try to upload a video starting from now. Hopefully once a week. We'll see. Just getting this thing off the ground. But cool. Have a good night.